Colleges' applications shouldn't have a race/ethnicity box. Every single college I have applied to has made me fill out a race/ethnicity box. I understand that colleges are trying to fill a quota on diversity, but that really shouldn't matter. I personally think it should be based more academic scholar and economic disadvantage, not trying to make your college look more diverse. It's just aggravating seeing my friends get denied into colleges while having straight A's and an amazing record of after-school activities, and then seeing another kid apply to the same college and get in with worse grades, although on the same sports team but with less awards etc., but just so happen to be a minority. Edit. First things first, from where I'm living currently my option is extremely unpopular because a lot of my peers use it as an advantage. Second thing is, I'll admit that I do not know what both of their applications looked like, so there's absolutely more to it than just race. I just don't like that that's something that matters in the first place. Third thing is, no, I'm not a conservative, lol. Thank you guys for the upvotes. One more thing, no, I am not white. This got a lot more popular than I thought it would. Please be civil in the comments. There's absolutely no point in being rude to get a point across. A lot of you are making extremely good points. No need to be rude. They shouldn't have age, gender, or religion boxes either. Most colleges do offer a prefer not to say option. I always choose that because I feel it's none of their business. I agree, though I definitely use this to my advantage. I'm white and Asian, so when applying to schools outside of California I said I was Asian, but applying to every California public school I said I was white. It is amazing how the debate has shifted over the years. It is now totally acceptable to favor one race over the other, as long as the race being favored isn't white or Asian. You cannot have equality by favoring one type of a person over another. Period. End of story. This pursuit of this utopian concept of equality is not realistic and needs to be abandoned. We should celebrate our differences and strive to improve our deficiencies. I think it is racist to choose students based on race. Agreed. My husband, Asian, had the experience in grade school of his parents being told he would have to attend the school in the next district over because the grade school where he lived had met its quota of Asians. Well, he worked his tail off at every school he ended up at to get good grades and log volunteer hours, extracurriculars, etc. Later, he would apply to colleges only to find out it worked the same way. Absolutely devastating. Why should we make some races work harder than others? Why should a grade schooler shoulder the burdens of racism? Did you know that employers and colleges often get more money or better tax discounts for having a higher diversity rate? The check your race box is literally a money-making scheme. If your race/ethnicity is a factor in your application, isn't that kinda dodgy? In many European countries that would be considered shocking, rude, and illegal to ask someone what their race is. Races are for dogs or cows, not for humans. I'm a quarter black, mom is biracial, father is white. Does that make me white or mixed? Even though I look completely white, I think they are worried that if they only let people in on merit, everyone would be Asian with a sprinkling of every other race. Is this some American joke I'm too European to understand? This guy I went to college said I only got in because I was black when I go to a pretty easy to get in school, lived in the neighboring county so the GPA requirement was lowered and I got a 1,540 on the SAT. That same asshole also couldn't get into criminal justice, failed out of sociology and then dropped out. But yeah, blacks took his spot. Say your grandma is black. I've never once got a DNA test or had to prove an ancestry tree. If you do it by income it will have all desired social justice effects. So we should do it that way. Judge not on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. That's basically racism, but the leftist version. It honestly sucks because whenever I see a minority that went to an elite school I wonder to myself if it was because they were capable or because of their ethnicity. It shouldn't be that way. I'll agree next year when I won't benefit from it anymore. They also shouldn't have your name. You should look into unconscious bias. Just having an ethnic sounding name will automatically have someone linking you to a stereotype. If everyone just had a number or barcode, things would be much fairer. When one of my family friends applied, they didn't know what Caucasian meant, so they checked other. They ended up getting a bunch of scholarships. I've always assumed this was to make up for racial inequality that currently exists within the education and economic system. Like, black people have more obstacles to face making it to even the application process than white people do, whether it be white people have easier access to tools such as tutoring or just the differences between private school systems and inner-city school systems. It's crazy. Most of the people commenting aren't even educated as to why affirmative action exists and why it's still in place. There have been several studies about disparities of minorities and disproportionately of the education system. Black schools are more likely to be underfunded as compared to their white counterparts, leading to black students not having the tools to succeed. We really live in a society that would take money away from schools just because majority of the class population is black. Shameful. Black students are more likely to grow up in poverty because of systematic oppression and mass incarceration. Systematic oppression refers to the mistreatment of people within a specific group, supported and enforced by the society and its institutions. Mass incarceration, which disproportionately puts black people in jail at a higher rate than other ethnicities and for longer periods of time for the same extract crime. Examples: crack cocaine vs regular cocaine, stop and frisk, driving while black, etc. 3. Black people are more likely to be discriminated against during the hiring process, which in turn impacts the income and success rate of their family. Based on studies, it is proven fact that a black person's name alone can impede them from being hired for a job even if they have the better resume. There is so much more I can add, but the gist is, as long as we live in a society that is still discriminatory and oppresses minorities, there is a need for affirmative action. Haha, you should take a look at India. Pretty much every college takes admission based on caste. If it doesn't, it's a private college that asks a shitload of money. What? Is this a thing? I have never heard of it before. We don't have that here in Denmark. That is just so unnecessary and completely irrelevant. I don't understand how anyone can think that it's important to include a race/ethnicity box. I would find it so offensive. In Ireland, everybody does a series of exams where they're identified by a number, e.g. If your grades in these exams meet the requirement for what you want to study, you're in. There's no focus on what your name is, your age, your ethnicity, your social status, your extracurricular activities.